England have just won the World Cup, guys. The first time ever in history, and boy did we have a match. I'm lost for words at the ending of that match. It was incredible. I was jumping up and down. Even my mum was jumping up and down screaming. It was just the most amazing final or cricket match I've ever witnessed, and I'm going to give you my reaction and thoughts on it. England are champions of the world, guys. Welcome to the sports debate.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely world. He's taken them apart.
We just witnessed the greatest ever cricket match, especially if you're a fan of England cricket. Where to begin with that? It was just, the greatest ever final. The first ever final that went into a super over, meaning after the first 50 overs, which is 300 balls, both teams were tied. It was just, it was crazy. Where to begin? So New Zealand won the toss and of course decided to bat first. It's been the trend in this World Cup that whoever bats first seems to have the advantage and win. So their day started off strong. England did well to restrict them to 241 after their 50 overs, leaving England with a target of 242. Normally, this would be light work and fairly simple for the English batting lineup. However, we all know the pressure the World Cup can bring. England started very poorly, I must say. We were down to 86 for 4, and at that stage, you're fearing the worst. And New Zealand, you'd have to put them as the favourites at that stage. Luckily, the big men, Ben Stokes and Jos Buttler, they stood up for their countrymen when they were needed the most. They put on over 100 partnership together. They took England fairly close to the target until Jos Buttler was caught out. Then it was left all on Ben Stokes' shoulders to carry the team home. I mean, so much happened, but let's focus on that final over alone, guys. So England needed 15 runs of 6 balls to win the World Cup. The first 2 balls were dot balls, no runs scored. So all of a sudden, it was 15 runs of 4 balls. That's a boundary ball to win the World Cup. It was very unlikely at that point. With 4 balls left, England needed 15 runs and Ben Stokes hit a 6. Now the thing about that is he was actually caught on the boundary by the New Zealand player Trent Boult. However, whilst he still had the ball in his hand, his feet touched the boundary line, meaning the 6 was counted. So he was like inches from being caught out, and then he was given a 6, which, had he not got that 6, England would have needed 15 of 3 balls, which is 2 6s and a 4, and at that stage, you just need miracles. So the 6 counted. The next ball, he got 2 runs, and as he was diving in with his bat, the ball coming from the field, it hit his bat and raced off to the boundary, meaning an extra 4 runs to the 2 they had already run. It was, I've seen almost every match this World Cup, and I've never seen this happen, guys. So England were very fortunate there. They got the extra 4 runs, meaning they needed 3 of the last 2 balls. They got 1 run from the next delivery, meaning the last ball of the Cricket World Cup, or so we thought. England needed 2 runs. The final ball, England got 1 run on their way back. New Zealand stumped the English batsmen, meaning both teams finished the match on 241 each. It was, I was jumping up and down. I didn't know what to feel. It was just insane, guys. Meaning for the first time ever, we had a super over in the Cricket World Cup final. This means, of course, that each team gets an over to see how many runs they can score, and whoever gets the most wins the World Cup. The added bonus of this for England was, if the super over was tied, so they scored the same number of runs, England would win the World Cup by virtue of the fact that they'd scored more boundaries during the match. England, Ben Stokes and Jos Buttler came back for that final over. They managed to get 15 runs off that final over, including a 4 on the final ball. That was very crucial. New Zealand, of course, then came on. They were running, they hit a 6, and then now, all of a sudden, New Zealand needed 2 runs off their final ball. It was like a role reversal, but now New Zealand needed those 2 runs. They couldn't just score 1 and tie the match, because like I said, England would win because of the boundaries. yeah, New Zealand got to hit the first run. He ran on the way back to the second, literally by not even a second, guys. Half a second. The ball thrown from Jason Roy from the field, collected by Jos Buttler, and he ran out Martin Guptill to win England the World Cup. It was crazy. 2 times we had the final ball, or so we thought. And yeah, the Super Over finished on a tie, 15-15. Martin Guptill, of course, he's had a very poor World Cup by his standard. This was probably his last World Cup and maybe even his last match in the one-day scene for New Zealand. He had the chance of the final ball to become a legend of his country, but I do feel sorry for the New Zealand players, but oh my God, I cannot tell you how excited and just I was pumping, guys. Like, still now, just thinking about it and what just happened. Honestly, you could write a film about this, guys, and you couldn't get a better script. It was just incredible. And for many, this would be their first ever cricket match they witness. Of course, this was shown on free-to-air TV. Normally, it is shown by Sky Sports. But yeah, this match was shown free-to-air, so there'd be millions of people watching that probably don't really watch cricket. And did they get a treat, guys? It is already by far the best World Cup final ever. And yeah, England have now won the World Cup for the first time ever. I'm just so happy I could witness this in my lifetime. Of course, as you know, we don't really get these moments often, being, you know, a fan of England in any sports really. But yeah, what a way to win it. I mean, some part of me is glad that it was such a close match, because this will be this is those where were you moments. It was just incredible. And of course, this isn't, you know, England just coming into the World Cup and winning it. This has been a 4-year process. If we look back at the 2015 World Cup, England didn't even make it out of the group stage, guys. And in that World Cup, it was split into 2 groups. So it was 8 teams made it to the quarterfinals, and England were not one of those 8 teams. It was an appalling World Cup England had. And yeah, the work started 4 years ago. Owen Morgan, the captain of England, he's even said that was where this all started. So 4 years this has gone. The preparation, the you know, everything leading up to this World Cup, and what a success it has been. Honestly, I'm speechless. If you've not seen it, please do go check out the highlights. It's just the most thrilling end. The only thing I can compare this to is like the Aguero goal for Man City to win them the Premier League in 2012, I believe. And that's about it. I can't really think of any other like, you know, moments like this where it's gone down to the last ball twice, guys. It's never happened before in World Cup history. And yeah, go check it out yourself. Go check it out. This will be talked about for years to come. All the players, I'm sure they'll get OBEs and knighthoods and whatnot for this achievement. For me, this way surpasses the, you know, the feel-good factor and the vibe of cricket after winning the 2005 Ashes. Yeah, it's for me the best day in English cricket history, and the only thing matching it is probably the 1966 World Cup final that the men's football team won. And of course, on a side note, not that, you know, that it will matter too much to the players, but England will definitely now win the BBC Sports Personality Team of the Year. I'm sure of that. And I believe Ben Stokes will probably win Sports Personality of the Year. So it's been a great World Cup, guys. I watched almost every game. Of course, I have the TV here in the office, and boy, am I glad I went through that, because I lived every ball. You know, looking back at the World Cup, England started off fairly strong. New Zealand started off really strong, and then going into the midway stage, England fell apart a bit. They lost a couple of matches to Sri Lanka and Australia, and all of a sudden, England were in real danger of not even qualifying for the semi-final. They needed 2 victories against India and New Zealand. Had they not won both of those, they wouldn't even be in the semi-final, guys. So, you know, it's a tournament of fine margins. New Zealand coming into the semi-finals, of course, they came on the back of defeats to Pakistan, Australia and England. So many were saying, you know, they were just making up the numbers now. And they faced India in the semi-final, which put India as a 98% favourite to win, guys, after New Zealand's innings. 98%. New Zealand, you know, they defended a very similar score. They had 239 to defend. They successfully defended that against India. And then, you know, we had the England-New Zealand final. And, yeah, this will go down as the best cricket match in the history of the sport, guys. It was just phenomenal. This wasn't, of course, the only thing we had going on today. It was just a spectacular day of sports. We also had the Wimbledon men's final. Novak Djokovic, the first seed, versus the second seed, Roger Federer. And that was a classic, guys. It was the longest ever final in Wimbledon history. Novak Djokovic won that match in 5 sets. It went to 12-all in the 5th set, guys, and they had a tie break. This is of course is a new rule that in the final set, if it goes to 12-all instead of 6-all, and you have a tie break in the final set, if it goes to 12-all in Wimbledon, you have the tie break. I've seen Wimbledon for the last 2 weeks. It's never come down to that. Once again, the first match it comes down in, it's the men's final, guys. And yeah, Novak Djokovic won the tiebreak at 12-all. Roger Federer actually had 2 championship points on his own serve. He was 40-15 up. He could not convert them. Djokovic saved both match points and went on to win the title. I'll be making a separate video looking at that Wimbledon final, so please do check that out. I'll be adding a link in the description and also at the end. And yeah, Djokovic, he's won 16 Grand Slams now. Roger Federer has 20, Rafael Nadal has 18, and Novak Djokovic has 16. We all know that 2 of Djokovic's main targets now is to catch up Federer in terms of the Grand Slam count, and also how long he's been world number 1 for. He's about a year away in terms of the world number 1, both of which are looking more likely by the day. And finally, we also had the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix. He is now the all-time leading winner of this race. He's won it 6 times. No other man has ever won it 6 times. He got a bit fortunate with the safety car. He overtook his teammate Bottas in the safety car period when he pitted. And yeah, the race was phenomenal, guys. We had so many incidences. We had Vettel crash in to the back of Verstappen. It ruined Vettel's race completely. And yeah, we had fights between Leclerc, Verstappen, Vettel, Gasly, and of course up front with Bottas and Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Great race again, guys. Please do check it out. And yeah, Lewis Hamilton has broken the record. He also set a lap record. Not just the fastest lap, but also a lap record at the British Grand Prix. This was Lewis's 7th victory out of 10 races this season, and it puts him 39 points ahead of second place Bottas. It does look likely that Lewis will win his 6th World Championship, only 1 away from Schumacher if he does win this. And it's looking good for Mercedes as well to win their 6th consecutive Constructors' Championship. There's been so much sports happening. I just wanted to give you guys my reaction to it all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do leave a comment. Which one did you watch? Or did you watch multiples like me? And also, how did you find it all? If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future videos. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set, and